Welcome to The Real with Joseph Labman. I am Joseph Labman. Thank you for tuning in this episode of The Real, taking time out of your day to come watch this episode. I really appreciate that. If you haven't subscribed already, please subscribe for me. I'd really appreciate that as well. That's the best way you can support this channel and help me grow my content and grow this channel to where I'd like it to be. Everybody hit the like button for me on the way in on this video today. That also helps promote this video more in the algorithms, helps grow this channel more as well. Please share this content. I would really appreciate that. My guests would as well. If you would please share this episode with someone you know that maybe is interested in the topic we're talking about today. Please leave a comment below as well. We'd love to hear your guys' feedback. You can interact with myself and the guest on the panel and the live chat as well. Whatever we're talking about, just leave a comment there in the live chat. Pop in and say hello. We'll put it on the screen for you. And yeah, without further ado, let's get to the show. Welcome back to The Real with Joseph Labman. I am Joseph Labman. Appreciate you guys for tuning in today. Hope you guys are having a great Tuesday today on this April 23rd, 2024. Like I said there in the intro, if you're new here, please subscribe for me. If you haven't subscribed already, please subscribe. It's the best way you can support this channel. I'd really appreciate that. And, I want to jump on today, for a quick 20 minutes or so, just talk about the games last night. Unbelievable night last night in NBA basketball. One of the best doubleheaders you'll see in the NBA, especially on TNT. You had the Knicks and the Sixers. And that was a crazy game there at the end as the Knicks somehow came back down 8 with, I think, like 30-something seconds left or 28 seconds left and miraculously won. I saw the end of that game, but my Cavs played. Maybe knows I'm a Cavs fan and have been my whole life, born and raised in Northeast Ohio. Cavs got the win last night over the Orlando Magic, 96-86. So I was locked in on that game. And then the game I watched the most last night really locked in the most on was the Lakers and the Nuggets. I was probably, to be honest with you, I'm more excited about that series so going into this playoffs than even my own team's series, to be honest with you. So I just want to keep an eye on the most and really locked into the most. But we'll start with the Cavs. So like I said, the Cavs get the win at home last night, 96-86. And Jared Allen completely went off again in the rebounding department for 20 rebounds. He had 20 rebounds last night. Game 1, he had 18 rebounds. And what I see right now from this Cavs team against the Magic, they won the rebound battle in Game 1. Last night, won the rebound battle again. Also, a fewer turnovers last night as well. I just don't think Orlando has the size, especially in the interior. I mean, they have Bogner is really good. Mo Bogner. They got Franz Bogner. Banchero's a bigger Wayne, but I don't think they're able to. They don't have the length inside, the rebounding inside that we have, and I think that's why we've been able to kind of control the games a little bit in the first two games. I think when you control rebounding and you don't turn the ball over as much, I think the one thing though the Cavs need to get better at is not turning the ball over as much. I still think they turn the ball over too much at times, and they get a little careless at times and kind of allow teams to get back in the game. But I thought last night they did a much better job with that at certain points in the game. The key points of the game, they didn't turn the ball over like they did in Game 1. But I just think when you have a guy like Jared Allen who getting 20 rebounds, and I think how many block shots did Jared have last night? Jared had, let me pull it up here. Jared Allen last night had 3 blocks and 2 steals. So, dude just dominated down in the paint last night, and he dominated the paint in Game 1. And I think plus minus he's plus 12. So, I don't, if Jared Allen plays well, I don't know. If he keeps playing like this, I don't think Orlando could beat us in a game. Maybe they could still Game 4 at home, just out of if we're up 3-0, maybe the next game just because they're back home. But I just don't see any way Orlando can win this series because I just don't think they're just getting beat up inside really bad like that with Jared Allen. And I also think out on the perimeter as well. You look at their guards compared to ours. Gary Harris and Jalen Suggs. They scored a combined, let me see here, 20 points, or no. They scored a combined 23 points last night, combined, their backcourt. And so you look at our backcourt with Garland and Mitchell. Mitchell had 23 points. Garland had 15 points. So I just don't see where the only advantage I see for the Magic in this series is with Banchero, because I think on the perimeter at times the Cavs get a little small defensively with Strus out there at small forward. Okoro's their best perimeter defender. He's 6'5", maybe 6'6". He holds up pretty well against taller guys. He's just a good defender, and he's big, strong, athletic, pretty good size, but he's really athletic and really good laterally. But outside of that, we don't play Marcus Morris at all. So I would thought maybe JB would play Morris more in this series, but he chose not to, and so far it's been okay. But Niang also more of a slower guy, not really a defensive guy, just a real tough, gritty guy, more of a 3-point shooter, but just a good role player. But outside of that, they don't really have anybody else to throw outside of Okoro at Banchero, and he's not playing Morris. So to me, I think what Orlando tried to exploit last night, but the shots just were not falling. I think Banchero last night shot, what did he shoot? 9 of 20 from the floor. He has been great. I think he's had 15 turnovers. He had 6 turnovers last night. I think he has 15 for the total for the series, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. Look at game 1. Banchero is just not taking advantage of the matchup, and I think he's their best player, and thus far he hasn't played like that. So I until he starts to come alive, I think what you saw a lot of last night, which is kind of what I thought Orlando would do, trying to exploit some of those smaller matchups, is go to the 1-3 pick and roll or 1-3 pick and pop with Banchero and probably and Suggs, and try to get that switch, or try to, and that's what they kept going to all night, was the high 1-3 pick and roll or pick and pop, and he just could not really hit a shot consistently. He couldn't really get going. I think at times too, there's been times in this first 2 games where Banchero's had a smaller guy on him. I can recall in game 1, even last night a couple of times, where he has Mitchell on him, and dude just passes up the ball. Like at one point last night, he was down by the block and had Mitchell on him and threw the ball across court for a 3 that Suggs missed. And I just don't think Banchero's aggressive enough yet. He's not as I don't think he's been as assertive as he needs to be for them to have a chance. Now he's a young player. I think he's kind of showing some first time playoff player mistakes, I think, if you want to call it that. Sometimes doesn't take the best shots or doesn't make the right play. To me, I think if Banchero keeps playing like this, they're probably going to get swept. I think the Cavs sweep them. I think that's their only matchups. That's in terms of the matchups. I think we have the advantage in the backcourt. I think when it comes to the front court and in the interior, we have the advantage there. We've proven that. I just think the only matchup that the only advantage maybe that Orlando has is with Banchero, who's a 6'10", 250 guy, could play 4. Put him at the 3 or the 4, has skill, could put the ball on the floor, could shoot. He just hasn't really done that yet. He just hasn't really gotten going. He just hasn't been really assertive at times, in my opinion. What I mean by assertive is just there's in the playoffs, there's just key points in the games. There's certain points in the games that really dictate the game, either where you win or you lose, or just those certain moments where guys, you really need your best players to step up and make plays. And he just hasn't done that. And so I don't really see, you look at the rest of the roster. I mean, Frogs Wagner played well, okay last night, 5 of 17. They just haven't really shot the ball well as a team in this. Jonathan Isaac 1 of 7. Suggs only took 5 shots. It was 2 of 5. Gary Harris 50%. He was the best shooter last night from an efficiency standpoint. But and then Mo Wagner fouled out. So I don't really see their advantage anywhere. I just don't. I don't think the Cavs bench has been great, but Orlando's bench hasn't been stellar either. I mean, they have some decent players or some notable names on the bench, like in terms of like Markelle Fultz and Cole Anthony or Joe Ingles or Bogner, guys like that. But other than that, there's just not really a whole lot going on. And I just think what I'm seeing from this Cavs team right now, which kind of surprised me. I'm being honest, I didn't think they would play this well in the first 2 games. Now, I mean, there's been times in both games where they let Orlando kind of slip back in the game a little bit, maybe get it within 10, but you never felt they were going to lose. You've always felt in these first 2 games they've been in control of the games, and I think when you watch them in these first 2 games at home, number one, I like the intensity they came out with, trying to take a team out early. I think that shows the difference between these 2 teams. I think the Cavs experience last year and the humbling experience they got last year against the Knicks. And then they're kind of facing a similar team this year in Orlando, who was kind of like where the Cavs were last year, first time in the playoffs. Guys don't really, some of your key players don't have experience. I think you're kind of seeing some of that experience in some way, or just kind of knowing the moment, if that makes sense. Just knowing that, like, like Kenny Smith said it on the show, on their post game show last night when they talked about the Cavs and the Magic series. He was like, you could just see when the Cavs come out, they're just a lot more like, we need to get up 2-0. Like, how important it is to take these guys out early in games, have the home court advantage, and just how, like, you have to come out and play hard and compete at a high level right away. And you just don't really see that from Orlando. Sometimes they're just very up, they're very down. And I think they just look like a really young first time team. So I think the Cavs probably win this maybe in a sweep. I said 5 games the other night. I'll still say 5. I'll say Orlando maybe wins one at home. Maybe game 4, just because, just to get, maybe they steal a game or whatever at home, whatever. But I don't see any way the Cavs lose a series or any way this turns. Now, it turns, like I was saying, going back to my point, the Cavs have surprised me this so far in this playoffs because I didn't think they would play this well in terms of, like I was saying, just how they started games, but also how they finished games as well. They finished games pretty well so far in the playoffs, which they did not do last year. And I think last night, the guy that really stood out to me in the second half, I thought the best player last night for the Cavs, honestly, I mean, outside of Jared Allen with the rebound, but I thought Darius Garland might have had his best playoff game as a Cavalier. I mean, he's only played in 6 of them, but I think so far, you go back to last year's series, and then this year's series, how many games went last year? I felt like they got swept last year, to be honest with you. I think it went 6 games, but either way, who cares? But I thought Garland had a great game last night. I thought, especially in the second half. I thought in the second half when Mitchell was on the bench, because Mitchell started off the game hot, I thought Garland came out in that third quarter, especially, and he just kind of took control of the team. He just was the point guard out there, leading the pack, running the offense, setting guys up, pulling up from 3, hit the fadeaway on the side, on the top of on the right wing there, the little step back fadeaway. And then he came back down and hit another 3. He responded to, I think it was Suggs' 3, maybe Banchero's. I think it was Banchero hit a 3. Garland came back down, hit another one. Then he was just on fire all night. Crossed up the dude on the perimeter on the right side, laid it in. Or no, crossed up dude, threw the pass inside to Mobley, who also had a great game. He's having a really good series too. Then at the end of the game there, he made the layup with the left-handed scoop. I thought Garland overall just had a really solid game. I thought when they needed him in the second half to step up and make plays and keep control of the team and slow down things at times, he did that. I thought he was really good last night. I thought he was their best player last night because I thought he made the key plays, like I said, in the second half, to keep things in control. So that's my take on the Cavs and just that series in general with the Cavs and the Magic. Like I said, I don't really see, excuse me, where the Magic really have an advantage in this. So I think my Cavs get the win. I think they win Thursday night. I'll say they lose Saturday in a close one, or just by whatever. They just lose, drop a game, and they finish it up at home next week. So, which will probably be maybe Monday night or Tuesday night. I don't know. I have to go look. But I think they win in 5. I think they clean it up. Wouldn't be surprised if they swept, though. So who knows? But that's that on that game last night. The other game, which I didn't really get to watch a whole lot, I just saw the end of it, like everybody else probably that were watching the Cavs game. The Sixers, the Sixers in the New York Knicks. I'm trying to look at the play-by-play here to see in the fourth how many seconds were left. So it was, because I remember I turned it on with like a minute left, maybe a minute 30, or I turned it on with a minute left. Yeah, it was 100-96. Sixers were up by 4, and then Kyle Lowry made a free throw, and they went up 101-96 with 47 seconds left. Jalen Brunson then comes down, makes a 3-pointer. He got his own rebound, makes a 3-pointer from DiVincenzo assist. Now they strike in within 2. Now they're only down 2 with 27 seconds left, which is still, you think, okay, they foul. Sixers still make 2 free throws. You feel like the Sixers had the game in hand. Well, no. They threw the ball in bounds, and Maxey lost the ball. Josh Hart stole it. DiVincenzo shot the first 3, missed it. Hartenstein had a hell of an offensive rebound, and DiVincenzo gets the ball back out from OG Anunoby, threw it out. And the fact that DiVincenzo shows how confident he is, he missed the first one. They get the offensive rebound, a hell of a rebound from Hartenstein. He gets the ball thrown back out to him, then he just lets it fly, not even thinking twice after missing the one 5 seconds ago, and bam, that was the game. And you were just kind of like, what the heck just happened? I even said that. I was just like, no way. I looked at the TV. I was looked at my. I was sitting there. I was just like, no way that just happened. And so I've never seen anything like it. The only thing I could think of in NBA history, the last time I could think of something like that was when Reggie Miller went off. And then I think it was like the 8 second thing or whatever it was. He went off like 8 points in like less than 20 seconds back in the 90s in New York, by the way. Um, that's I obviously I wasn't born for that, but I never seen anything like what I saw last night in that game. That was insane. That was a crazy finish. New York now goes up 2-0 and steals a game. And after the game, Embiid made his comments. He goes, "We're the better team. We're going to win the series." And I, I think they can. I think they'll win Game 3, Philly. But I just don't know. That's so hard to recover from a loss like that. I mean, in the playoffs, I'm curious to see how the rest of the team responds. I expect Embiid to come out and play well after his comments, but as the leader of the team, is sitting there with his head down after the game, and he said those were the better team. We're going to come back and win. I'm just curious to see how the rest of the team responds because I don't. That's a tough loss, and if I'm Nick Nurse too, the head coach, I'm kind of like wonder what the hell happened as well. I mean, he's the head coach at the end of the day. I mean, what happened there at the end of the game? Why couldn't we execute an inbound pass? Why couldn't we inbound the ball? Why couldn't we? I mean, I get Kyle Rowley missed the free throw, which didn't help. He missed one, but he still made the one to go up 5. I don't know what happened defensively there at the end of the game to let Brunson get that open 3 like that as well in the corner, or not open 3, but he hit that 3 in the corner. I mean, it was contested, but still, I mean, there's a lot of things you always go back and look at. You're just kind of like, how the hell do we let a game slip like that in what is it, 20, almost 40, 20, almost 30, 40 seconds? How do we let a game slip like that? Because you felt like it was over. And so I don't know. I don't see how they recover from that. I'll say the Knicks win the series now. I wouldn't be surprised if Philly made it a series again, just out of, I think they win the next game. Maybe they win game 4 and tie it 2-2. But because New York has home court advantage, I just think when they go back to that building again, if they have to, I just I just don't know how you get that out of your head. I really don't. And that New York crowd, that's a tough place to play. And I just think the Knicks are just a better coached. And they just play harder. They're more consistent, and they know who they are. The Knicks, they may not have the best players all around, but they know who they are, and they play hard. They win some of these games, and they just scrap games away. That's how they're just a scrappy team, and especially when they play at home in that crowd, they're just really tough to beat. And so that was shocking though to see that. I'm not gonna lie, that was pretty surprising. I've never seen anything like that. And transitions to the last game last night, though, the game that I watched from start to finish. Um, the Nuggets and the Lakers in Denver, game 2. So Nuggets win game 1, go up 1-0. I'm like, okay, how are the Lakers going to respond in game 2? And D'Angelo Russell in game 1 was awful. He took a lot of criticism in the last 2 days for that performance. He shot bad from the 3. I think he was like 1-9 from 3 or something crazy. Didn't play well at all. I thought LeBron didn't play well in that fourth quarter in game 1. Didn't close the game when they needed him to. This wasn't a clean game. I thought Denver just was the better team that night, and they looked like the defending champs. So you're looking ahead to game 2 now. You're thinking, okay, how are the Lakers going to respond? And I thought last night was a huge, huge night for the Lakers organization going into it. I feel like they have to win that. You've lost 9 in a row going into the game to the same team, the Denver Nuggets. How the hell are you going to – you need to steal a win on the road here. I thought they had to win the game last night to have a shot at winning the series, to be quite honest with you. I don't ever say it's over until it's over, especially when you have LeBron and AD. But man, the way that game went last night. So D'Lo starts off hot. I think he hit 6 threes in the first half. They go up 20 at one point in the fourth quarter. Anthony Davis had a hell of a first half. He was on fire at one point. I think at one point scored like 15 of the Lakers 20 points in a span or something crazy. He was on fire on both ends of the floor. LeBron was throwing some nice assists. Didn't have the best night shooting the ball in the first half, but made some nice assists, made some nice defensive plays, taking charges, some blocks. He uses a lot more energy on the defensive end, and I thought they had a really good first half. And that first half, though, what was crazy to me was even after the first quarter when D'Lo went off, and at certain points in the second half, going into halftime, I think they were up. I think like maybe 10 or 13 points if I remember correctly. I can't remember the exact how much they were up, but they were up. But you just never felt like they fully put the foot on the gas and just really pulled away when they had the opportunities to, like, really put your foot on their neck and say, "Okay, we're winning this game tonight. That you guys are coming back from this." And they just didn't do it. They just didn't do it. You just always felt like Denver just kept creeping around, hanging in there. And then you go to the third quarter, they get up by almost 20, but Denver just starts chipping away. Denver start getting stops. But also Denver just started going to work offensively, working the ball inside the Jokic, and Michael Porter Jr. had a great night, um, especially in the first half. And they just could not. You just felt like the Lakers just couldn't pull away. There was just too many, like, at certain points they would take bad shots in the third quarter, or guys weren't being assertive enough like you needed them to. And then defensively too, did not have a good night in the second half. The Lakers last night in the second half did not have a good outing, in my opinion. I don't think anybody would disagree with that. I mean, the guys were driving in, getting in the lane, whatever they wanted in that fourth quarter, and Jamal Murray started getting going in the fourth quarter. He was having a rough series shooting the ball. He started attacking inside to get going. He was just getting right inside too. I mean, the Jamal Murray Jokic pick and roll, just that 1-2 punch combo is probably the hardest thing to guard in the NBA. They're probably the best 1-2 punch in the NBA right now. That's why they're defending champs. And you look at the team stats last time you pull that up. Turnover wise, the Lakers 15 turnovers to Denver's 9. Only 9 turnovers for Denver. I thought less than 10 was pretty good. And then Denver also won the rebound battle as well. And you just kind of felt like too, as that game went on in the third quarter and the Denver started to chip back closer, you just kind of wonder, like, that's how I kept asking myself, when are the Lakers just gonna, like, take this game for good? Because they just, even like in the fourth quarter, we fast forward to the fourth quarter, LeBron hits those 2 threes. He hits the one, he comes off the screen, hits the three, and he comes down, throws the heat check up and makes that, and then they go up 9, and or maybe it was 8 or 9 points. I think it was 8, and you're kind of like, okay, is the game over now? Is LeBron going to close this game out? But then here come the Nuggets down again. They close from 8 and they close it back down to 5. They come down and hit a 3. It was just like when the Lakers needed to get, like, the consistency of not just scoring but also stops as well together, a score and a stop, maybe 2 times in a row. They just couldn't get it. And that's the problem with the Lakers, in my opinion. They're just too inconsistent. When you build these habits throughout the season of being an inconsistent team, which is what they were. They were a 500 ball club that, I mean, what were they? 47 and 35. They were an 8 seed that snuck in, so a little above 500, but still, they're an 8 seed. They had a very up and down season. Now, some of that was maybe some injuries, but they're just a very inconsistent team, and it shows in the games when they need it. Like, they're just not. They just, for some reason, I think the problem against this Nuggets team the Lakers have, they just can't close these games for some reason. There's a lot of it, they don't have a closer in terms of, like, a real guy on the perimeter, like a Kyrie Irving, like LeBron had in the past. A guy can create his own shot, get to the free throw line, can create for others, can get the ball inside and finish at the rim. I mean, D'Lo made that nice layup there at the end of the game last night, but I don't. I think the one thing that stood out to me, though, more than anything, was in the second half. Anthony Davis had that phenomenal first half, and then in the third quarter, he didn't get as many shots. LeBron started to take more shots, and in the fourth quarter, Anthony Davis took 1 shot. He went 0 for 1 in the fourth quarter, didn't score any points. So he has that hell of a first half, almost 30 points in the first half, just dominating, just cooking. Nobody on the Nuggets team could guard him in the first half. I don't know who could or who can when he's rolling like that. And in the second half, they just go away from him. He's just non-existent. And I don't understand too, why are you doubling Jokic when you're up 20? That made no sense to me. Why are you doubling Jokic? You're up 20 points. Why would you double the guy? I get it. He's a great post player. He can kill you inside. But one man can't beat you, no matter how many points he scores. The other guys were getting cold at one point when they were up 20. Jamal Murray was not playing well. KCP was having an okay night, but they weren't hitting shots. I mean, Michael Porter had a nice first quarter. But they kind of started to slow down and cool off a little bit. Why are you doubling Jokic in the post? Because all he did was just start to kick it out, and Michael Porter hit the one, and then KCP hit a couple, and then Jamal Murray later on the game got going. And now you got these other guys in rhythm now. So now you can't really double Jokic because he's just killing you with the assist. And then now, once he gets the ball 1-on-1 inside against AD, which AD had a hard time guarding Jokic last night, especially late in that game. He had a really hard time guarding him. Jokic went to work. They just could not figure it out. But to me, it's just like, I think in order to beat a team like Denver, you have to be complementary. It's almost like we say in football, complementary football. You have to be consistent on both ends. And they just don't. They're not consistent. 1 minute they're good offensively, but they're shitty on defense. 1 minute they're great. They're getting stops on defense, but they're not scoring buckets on offense. They're turning the ball over. Guys are falling on the floor, and complaining about not getting the foul. They're just not a consistent team. And at the end of the game there, the Jamal Murray's last second shot was unbelievable. I actually thought I had it pulled up here. Hold on 1 second, but you guys have probably already seen it. If you haven't already, Jamal Murray's game-winning shot. But I thought, though, what was interesting, too, in those last 2 minutes, Jamal Murray went at LeBron James. When he got the foul, when the Lakers had the foul, or they didn't have the foul again, the Nuggets were already in the bonus, and I think the game was a 2-point game. The Lakers just went up by 2. LeBron made the layup. Jamal Murray comes off the screen, goes left, drives, gets LeBron one-on-one, drives right at the basket. LeBron fouls him. Jamal goes to the line, ties it up, and then LeBron comes back down. I think, if I remember correctly, I know. No, it's good. Yeah, LeBron comes back down to that, hits a layup. The Lakers go up by 2. LeBron was yelling about not getting the foul call. Jamal comes right back down, though, and it's him and Jokic putting LeBron and AD in that pick and roll, or that trying to get that. Trying to get the switch on LeBron, really, because AD switched out on Murray. Murray was on the right side. He dribbled back left. They rescreened. As soon as he got LeBron on him, he went right back right and pulled up right at his spot. So he was going after LeBron when he had the matchup, obviously, because LeBron's a almost 40-year-old guy. And I thought that really stood out to me there in those last 2 minutes. Once Jamal got going, he was really going at LeBron, trying to get that switch, and kind of had his way a little bit too, to be honest with you. So now on the last game winning shot, though, he had AD on him, and I'm gonna pull that up right here. You guys have probably already seen it, but in case you haven't, and let me find the right one here, because I'm not trying to get copyrighted, YouTube. So please, this is for fair use. Fair use. I think this one right here. So this is the last 2 minutes of the game. Or what is once again? I thought that's what stood out to me, though, was why did Anthony Davis only get 1 shot attempt in the fourth quarter, and why did you go away from him in the second half? I just thought that the coaching last night by the Lakers and just the player, just the overall philosophy in that second half, I just did not understand what they were trying to do. You're doubling Jokic, you're up 20, and then Anthony Davis is rolling in the first half. Nobody could stop him. And in the second half, you kind of go away from him. And here's what stood out to me before I pull up the highlight. When I look at the box score at the end of the game, right? So AD's having a great first half. LeBron struggled. Now LeBron had a great fourth quarter. He had a really good fourth quarter, made a lot of clutch shots. I think going into the fourth quarter, I think he only had like 10 or 12 points. He finished with 26. So he went off in the fourth. But you look at the shot attempts at the end of the game. LeBron had 19 shot attempts total. Anthony Davis, after the first half he had 19 shot attempts total at the end of the game as well. How did LeBron and AD, if you watch the first half and then go to the second half, how did LeBron finish with the same shot attempts as Anthony Davis? I don't understand why they went away from. I'm watching there in the third quarter, and Nuggets are coming back in the game, and AD's on the bench. And when he's in, he's not getting really. And in that fourth quarter, especially, only had 1 shot attempt. I just don't. They went away from what was working, and then when they needed those timely stops and scores, they just didn't get them consistently. In my opinion, they're just not a consistent team. But I don't understand that either. Why is LeBron and finishing with the same shot attempts as Anthony Davis when Anthony Davis had a hell of the first half? In the second half, he just kind of went away from him. It wasn't like they weren't really doubling or anything. They just didn't really get him the ball. AD should have finished with 40 points last night. That should have been a classic AD game, but it didn't turn out that way. So here is the last. Let me pull this up here. So this is the last 20 seconds. So this is after Jamal Murray hits a shot over LeBron, like I said. LeBron comes down here, and I'm curious to see, I'm going to rewatch this again. I'm curious what you guys think about this shot attempt here. LeBron has the wide open three to win the game. Because he makes this three, the game's pretty much over. So right here, he comes off. He's coming down the court, 19 and a half seconds left. Game's tied. Jamal Murray just hit the shot over LeBron. Lakers called no timeout, went out, which I agree with, play a live ball situation so the defense can't really set or react to what you're going to do. Anthony Davis comes up here. It's the high pick and roll, LeBron and AD, which is they've been killing teams with. It's their 1-2. It's their go-to. That's their bread and butter. And if you look here, LeBron's going to come off. Probably shoves KCP. To be honest with you, you look at that forearm there. I don't. I mean, definitely some contact on that. They didn't call the offensive foul. I'd say a slight shove, but I'd probably say KCP did a nice job of selling it too, which that's what you're supposed to do. So now LeBron, you see, he's right here at the top of the key, wide open. There's nobody around. Nobody around. He could sit out there all day. This is kind of like Jordan in Utah when he pushed. People say he pushed off Byron Russell, or Byron Russell fell to the floor. He's got an open shot right there at the top of the key to win the game. And LeBron, all day, rimmed out, didn't make it. So now the Nuggets do the same thing. We're going to play in a live ball situation. They had one timeout left, but just play it live, and go to your bread and butter, which is what they do. They come over to Jokic. First KCP hits and comes over, sets the screen. They're trying to get the switch here, obviously, with LeBron. That's who they want on Jamal Murray. They try to get it here. The Lakers do a nice job guarding this time. So now he's got 80 on him. He's got to go. He's only got 3 seconds left. 3 seconds left in the clock. He does a nice job here, Jamal Murray. That's what I like about Jamal Murray at the end of the games. He's very calm. He's very poised. He's just he doesn't ever look very like too high or too low when you watch him at the end of the games. I think he's one of the best closers in the league right now by far. And last night proved it again. He right here just gets to a spot and does a nice job creating space, gets a longer defender, gets a shot off, and game over. And so play that one more time for you guys with the volume.
Worst can happen, we go to overtime. Murray makes a move.
Ball game. And so I put on the thing here, is this series over? And in my opinion, I just don't know how the Lakers can come back from that kind of loss. I don't know how they can do it because they've now lost 10 times in a row. I thought last night, in all those 10 games, last night I thought was the best game the Lakers have played against the Nuggets. And they still lost. And when you go back and watch the end of the game, they just couldn't make the plays when they needed it most in the last 2 minutes. They couldn't get the stops and needed it. LeBron had a wide open look, missed it. They just still couldn't pull it off. And then it's not like the Nuggets played their best game either. Jamal Murray didn't come alive until the fourth quarter. And so it's just like, you look at it like that, you're like, damn. And it's just kind of like, I don't know. I don't see how they can't beat these guys. They just can't beat them. I don't know if it's a personnel. I just don't know. Your best players, I would still say your best player, although Anthony Davis probably should be, is almost 40 years old. I mean, still playing at a great high level, but, wasn't great at the end of the game, game one. Last night, the open look, missed it, and then as a team as well, you're going away from Anthony Davis. I don't know. I'd say the series is over. I think the Lakers probably win game 3. They should win game 3. They better win game 3. Um, because if they lose game 3, it's probably a sweep again. Maybe at best a gentleman's sweep for them. But if they win game 3, I think it could become a series again. Maybe they win game 4, but I just don't. They're not going to beat the Nuggets. I don't see it. They can't win in Denver, and they looked tired last night due to that game too. Like they had 2 minutes left, and you were kind of like, okay, you guys, you could sleep on the way home on the plane. Can you just give us 2 more minutes? I get you're in the altitude and everything, but can you just give us 2 more minutes? It just wasn't happening. Guys were walking around. Guys looked tired. The guy who was the oldest one out there, LeBron, had more energy than his teammates. Um, and I'm curious too. What does Anthony Davis think today? Looking back and knowing that the first half he had, and he had 1 shot attempt in the fourth quarter, and just didn't really. That second half just kind of. I mean, people question that in his career, in the past in his career. At times in the fourth quarter, he doesn't. Some people say he's AD, he's all done. In the fourth quarter, he's all done. Some people question that in the past. Why can't I don't get it. I feel like he's the key. He's the guy that last night should have been the dominant guy all throughout the game. Like I said, he should have finished with probably 40 points last night, and he only finished with 32. That should have been a classic AD game, and it just didn't happen, and they lost. So I don't get it. I don't understand it. I know people are going to blame some of the role players, and I heard it's Spencer Dinwiddie's fault today. It's really Hachimura's fault today. Last game was D'Lo's fault. It's always somebody else's fault. But at some point, you got to look to your best 2 players, your top 2 guys, and say, okay, you guys have lost 10 times in a row to this damn team. What's the problem? Because Jamal Murray and Jokic, Jamal wasn't having a great game, but they still found a way to win. Still found a way to win the game. Why can't the Lakers do that with their 2 guys? After the game last night, LeBron and AD were not very happy. Like I said, I wonder what AD's thinking. Well, he wasn't very happy after the post game last night.
Jamal Murray made a shot.
What happened on that last play?
Jamal Murray made a shot.
Jamal Murray made a shot. LeBron, what did you think about last night? And here's LeBron last night at the end of his post game press conference.
LeBron, over the next 48 hours when you're looking at film and getting ready for that game Thursday, what's the challenge mentally and emotionally after you lose such a heartbreaking game?
I mean, yeah, of course it's a heartbreaking game. You don't ever want to lose in that fashion. I don't understand what's going on in the replay center, to be honest. I think I said it this year or last year, whatever. D'Lo clearly gets hit in the face on a drive. What the fuck do we have a replay center if it's going to go? It doesn't make sense to me. It makes no sense to me. It bothers me. Sorry I didn't answer your question, but that shit is like. And then I just saw what happened with the Sixers Knicks game too. What are we doing?
Yeah. Clearly those 2 weren't happy, and what happened again, AD, at the end of the game?
Jamal Murray made a shot.
All right, thanks. Yeah. I don't see it. I don't see how they can win this series. Those 2 getting pissed off like that, the press conference like that, throwing the mic, the hell with this, I'm out of here. I don't see it. I just don't. Now, I'm really curious though. What does this lead to? And if you're a Lakers fan out there watching this, and it's a serious, not a LeBron fan, a Lakers fan, and maybe if you are a LeBron fan too, where do you go from here? Say they get swept again, say they lose, or they just lose the series again. They get bounced in the first round. Where do you go from here? Are you really going to pay this guy? Should LeBron even want to sign a multi-year deal with the Lakers? And if I'm the Lakers, do I want to sign this guy at almost 40 to a 3-year deal and probably have to draft a son, possibly? Who I think probably needs 1 more year in college, or is definitely going to need a year to develop in the G League, or he needs development. He's not. I don't think he's ready to play in the NBA right away at all. So, if you're the Lakers and you're LeBron, where do you go from here? Because I just don't see. I don't think this. To me, this thing's wore itself out. I don't think LeBron ever fit LA. To be honest with you, I thought it was more of an off the court move. I thought it was more of a business move, more of a family move. I don't think it was a basketball first move at all by any means. And as someone who's watched him and followed him closely for his whole career since I was younger till now, I don't see where they go from here. And so if I'm the Lakers and if I'm LeBron, if I'm LeBron, but ultimately at the end of the day, it comes down to look at it from LeBron's standpoint. Does he want to win championships anymore, or does he just want to ride off in the sunset and be more of a global brand and keep growing his brand and his businesses and, play with his son and just maybe make as much money as he can before he gets out? He's already a billionaire, but, I don't know. Because if that's the case, just stay in LA. If he doesn't want to compete for championships, he should just stay in LA. If he wants to compete for championships and still be a global, because the reason why I bring up global is obviously he is a global athlete. He's one of the most famous, maybe the most famous current athlete playing in the world right now, one of them. As a Cavs fan, there's always, it was thrown out again today. Do Cavs fans want LeBron back for a third stint? And I would say if he wants to compete for a championship, sure. He could be that piece in the middle we need at the 3. But I think LeBron, my dad made this point in the last show too, Jersey. I think LeBron feels like he's above Cleveland now. He's beyond Cleveland. That chapter's over with. And that, he's been out in LA in a big market for 6 years now. I think the only way he can go, and I think Anthony Davis could possibly go with him, is to the Knicks. And that's the only thing I see. If he wants to compete for championships and have one more big hoorah on the way out of his career and have that last dance like Michael Jordan, I think you go to the Knicks. But if he doesn't want to compete for championships, you go to the Lakers. But if I'm the Lakers, though, why would you pay a guy at 40 years old that kind of money? The only way I see it is because Lakers ownership isn't the richest ownership. LeBron still does generate draw. You are the Lakers. You are LA. He does bring money in still. He's making them money still, even at 40 years old. So I don't know, though. But I'm curious what you Lakers fans, LeBron fans, what do you guys think? What do you think the Lakers should do? And what do you think LeBron should do? That's what I'm curious. And let me know in the comments below what you guys think. So that's my thoughts on it. We'll see what happens game 3 Thursday night with the Cavs and the Lakers both playing Thursday night game 3s. I'll have it on the side. We'll be doing the NFL draft here at the crib. We're having a draft party. So we might go Facebook Live as well. So check us. Stay tuned for that. Check us out on there during the draft Thursday night, giving our reaction to the draft picks. And let me know what you guys think about the games last night as well. Let me hear your feedback. So that's all I got for you guys today. Love all you guys. Like, subscribe, share, and all that good stuff. And I'll see you guys in the next one. I'm out of here. Gone.